Okay, listen, we will start. Operational amplifier, we can perform different operations using that. And the very popular operational amplifier is IC741 is a very popular operational amplifier. So what is IC?
Integrated chip.
Integrated circuit.
Yes, integrated circuit. What is the meaning of integration? So it is integration. So integrated circuit, we will see what is integrated circuit. It is a very small, low cost. We have seen so many integrated circuits, IC chips, which involves active and passive components. I hope you all know what is active and what is passive components. The passive components falls like resistor, capacitor, all this falls in the passive component, and active component falls like inductive, all those are active components. So these huge things, all this are fabricated inside the IC chip
Mic off Ashitra.
circuit. We have huge applications for this integrated circuit. Communication, different electronic, even like remote control, we can see the different ICs. Toy car, we can see the different ICs. Friends, can you all hear me? Please reply in the chat. Hello, can you all hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, we will continue with we have seen the different applications of op-amp. Now we will continue with the advantages of ICs. So IC is very, very small in size. Even it takes the very small 8-pin IC to the 40-pin controller IC. The size occupied by the IC is very small, and it is obviously low in cost, and the less weight it is. The supply voltage required for IC is always less, and the power consumption is also less because of that. And it is so reliable and the fast because all the circuits are integrated in a single chip. So obviously it is fast in speed. I'll move to the next slide. So this slide gives you the overview of SSI, small scale integration, medium scale integration, large scale integration, and you all know it is very large scale integration, and then ultra large scale integration. So this is how many components I can occupy inside a single semiconductor chip, that is a single IC. Inside a single IC, the IC can be a op-amp IC like 741, or it can be a digital IC, or it even can be a controller IC. So it falls under any of this category. So we have SSI, small scale integration, where I can occupy only less than 100 components inside the small chip. What is a chip? So you all know this is the chip, integrated circuit. So for the large scale or ultra large scale, it is a Pentium processor or given as an example here. So it can occupy so many devices where it falls under the even the same law. I hope you all know the law. It is the Moore's law. So next we will go to the symbol of op-amp. So it's very easy. So all the devices, all the electronic devices will have a symbol. Even if you take the resistor, FET, MOSFET or BJT, anything, we will represent the device using its symbol. So to easily simplify its symbol, we have two inputs here. One is non-inverting input, other one is the inverting input. Two pins on the input side, and one I go to the output side, that is the output pin. So two inputs, one output, and two pins are given in op-amp for the power supply. One is to connect the positive side of the power supply, other one I'll connect the negative of the power supply. So these are the things we have for the input side and output side of op-amp. So as of now, to remember the symbol of op-amp, we have two inputs, one output and two power supply side. And it's very important to move to the pin diagram of op-amp. It is a very simple IC. We have only 8 pins here, 1 to 8 pins. So as we discussed in the previous slide, we have two inputs, inverting input and non-inverting input, and then one output that goes to pin number 6, and then two power supplies. One is for the positive side occupied by pin number 7, and one is on the negative by pin number 4, and I have three more pins present left out here. It is offset null in 1 and 5, and then no connection in pin number 8. So this is my internal diagram as well as the pin diagram of my op-amp. So once you know the symbol of op-amp, it is very easy to draw the pin diagram of op-amp. Yes, I'm moving to the next slide. Okay, this simple block diagram of op-amp. So op-amp, operational amplifier, is very famously called as op-amp. Op-amp behave like a differential amplifier. So from the name, it is clear that the differential amplifier will amplify the difference of pin number 1 and pin number 2. And what is the difference? The difference is VD is the difference. So this VD is amplified and it will be available in the output side. So this is the differential amplifier. So from the basic simple idea to understand op-amp is, op-amp will act like a differential amplifier. It will amplify the two inputs and give it on the output side. Amplify the difference between two input and give that on the output side. So to move little deep into that, it works in two different modes. One is the difference mode and one is the common mode. So we will see what is there in these two modes. So for the difference mode, we know that V out, the output of the differential amplifier, is proportional to the difference in the applied voltage. Participants, if you want to note down, you can please note down this. So difference of the input voltages, the difference of the input is V1 minus V2. So that is my VD. So VD is equal to V1 minus V2. So V naught is proportional to VD. V out is proportional to VD. If I want to remove this proportionality, I want to introduce a constant. I have introduced a constant here as AD. AD is my gain. Okay. So it is called as differential mode gain. It is called as differential mode gain. So now V out is equal to AD, where VD is replaced by V1 minus V2. And shall we write AD is equal to V naught by VD? So this is the final differential mode gain what we obtained in the difference mode. So similarly, we will do it for the common mode also. So in the common mode, I'll go back to the previous slide. So it is in difference mode, we take the difference between these two. Yes. So in the common mode, we consider these two are same. Same in the sense, if V1 is equal to 2 volt, V2 is also equal to 2 volt. If V1 is equal to 5 volt, V2 is also equal to 5 volt. Yes. So that is the common mode. So in common mode, I want your attention to the first line. So V1 is equal to V2. So what is VC? VC is my common mode voltage. VC is equal to, since both the voltages are same, I'll take the average of that, V1 plus V2 divided by 2. So now, as like my old difference mode, I take V out proportional to VC. So in the previous case difference mode, we have taken V out proportional to VD. Yes, no? So here it is V out proportional to VC. So to remove this proportionality, similarly, you want to introduce one constant. What is the constant? The constant here is common mode gain, that is AC. Listeners, can you able to follow? Please reply on the chat box. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So I hope this common mode and difference mode is clear. If the two different voltage applied to the differential amplifier was different, then you take in difference mode. If the two voltages applied to the differential amplifier are the same, exactly the same value, then it is the common mode. So at the time we will calculate the common mode gain. Okay. So next, so up to this, I hope it will be clear. So next I'll go to the CMRR. Any idea about CMRR? Please leave in the chat box. So what is CMRR? CM is common mode. CM is common mode. Common mode rejection ratio. So it is a differential amplifier. I'm going to amplify only the difference and not the same signal. So I'm going to reject all the common signals. Which is common signal? Common signal is V1 equal to V2 is the common signal. So CMRR rejection ratio is equal to, it is represented in rho, that is AD, difference mode gain divided by common mode gain. So obviously the common mode gain will be very, very low and the difference mode gain will be very, very high because it is the differential amplifier. Okay, so for the ideal one, this AC should be 0 and AD should be infinite. So if AD is infinite, CMRR will also be infinite. Yes. So finally, V out is the addition of difference mode gain as well as the common mode gain. Yes. So if you consider AC is not at all there is no common signals, then AC is 0 all time. Yes. So we can neglect this part. We can omit this part. We can omit this part. Yes, we can omit the AC part. So now V out will be equal to AD into VD. So AD is open loop gain. If AC is 0, so we are neglected that. So AD will be the infinite, yes, or it is a high, very, very high value. So that is what is given here. AD is the open loop voltage gain, and it is also represented as AOL. So this is the detailed block diagram of operational amplifier. So I already insisted that operational amplifier, as simple you want to understand, you can understand this as a differential amplifier. So we will see what is there inside that, and we know that this is op amp. Yes, a triangular symbol with two inputs. We know that this is op amp, correct? So now we are seeing four different blocks. These four different blocks are present inside this op amp. Yes, these four different blocks are present inside this block. Yes. So from this basic diagram, what we know, I know it is having only two inputs and one output. Yes, right? Okay, now it is having two inputs, non-inverting input and inverting input, and it is having one output on the other side, one output on the other side. Yes, now all the four stages are present inside my op amp. So what is my first stage? Input stage. See, input stage is a differential amplifier. See, input stage is a differential, sorry. The input stage is a differential amplifier. Yes, so it behaves as we discussed, like differential amplifier in difference mode and common mode. And intermediate stage is also a differential amplifier. First stage and second stage is a differential amplifier. So the op amp's operation is dominated by the differential amplifier. And the next stage is level shifting stage. That is nothing but the emitter follower. And the last stage is the amplifier stage. It is a push pull amplifier. So as of for this internal block diagram of the op amp. So now we will come to the definition, the actual typical definition of op amp. So an operational amplifier is a direct coupled high gain amplifier. Why it is high gain amplifier? My differential amplifier present in the input stage and the next stage is going to give me the high gain. Yes. It's consisting of one or more differential amplifier. Yes, it is true. We have two we have two differential amplifiers on the first stage and as well as in the second intermediate stage, and followed by a level translator, that is emitter follower, and then the output stage on the last one. So this is what the four blocks is given as a definition for the operational amplifier here. What I can do with the operational amplifier. So it's a very versatile device, that is a reliable device, and I can use this device to amplify. See, I need your attention on this point, AC as well as DC. So it's not restricted to only it can accept AC signal or only it can accept DC signal. It accepts the both. If you apply AC, it works for AC. If you apply DC, it as good, it works for DC also. Yes, and it's mainly designed to do so many mathematical operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication. I have listed few here. Ideal characteristics of op amp. So ideal in the sense it is the perfect characteristics of op amp, perfect for anything. Yes, perfect man, but there is no perfect man in the world or no perfect thing we can design. So it's not possible to design a perfect op amp also. I hope you accept. So this ideal characteristics is given only for the perfect op amp, that is it's only in the theory. Yes, so AOL, what is AOL? AOL is AD, no? Am I right? AOL is AD. AD is my difference gain. Na? AD is my difference mode gain. And if there is no common mode signal, AD is 0. Yes, sorry. If there is no common mode signal, if there is no AC, AD is 0. AC is 0. AD is infinite. And it will have infinite input resistance. Output resistance will be 0. These are the behavior of differential amplifier. The same applies for the op-amp also, because the basic structure of op-amp is built through differential amplifier. Yes, it takes infinite bandwidth. It can accept infinite bandwidth. If both the inputs V1 and V2 are 0, its output should also be 0. And CMRR, we know AC is 0, so AD will be infinite. Yes. Slew rate is a new term is introduced here. Slew rate is output to the change in time. So these are for the ideal characteristics of op-amp. Am I clear? My voice is clear? Okay. Okay, we will go to the voltage transfer curve of op-amp. These basics are required to go into the applications of op-amp. Yes. Voltage transfer curve. So from the differential amplifier, from the block of differential amplifier, so two inputs, one output for the differential amplifier, and here the difference is VD. Here the difference is VD. So from this block, VD is difference between V1 and V2. So that VD I take in the x-axis. This is the output. Yes. If there is a small change in my VD, my output goes to saturation. Vsat is the saturation. So V1 is equal to 2 volts, V2 is equal to 1 volt, VD is equal to 1 volt. Even the difference is 1 volt, my output goes to saturation immediately. Yes, it goes to positive saturation or it goes to negative saturation. So please listen, this is only for the ideal op-amp. Yes, not for the practical op-amp. So I cannot control my op-amp in the linear region. The op-amp immediately goes to the saturation region. So we all know what is a saturated state. If you are studying for 3 days or 4 days continuously for your exams, then you will go to the saturated state. Yes, so that is the saturated state. Similarly, the op-amp will also go to the saturated state immediately, even there is a small change in VD. This is for the ideal op-amp. Yes. But coming to the practical op-amp, yeah, practical op-amp. See, there is some portion. See, the op-amp is accepting some inputs up to this small change in VD. Up to this small change in VD, it is releasing some outputs. Later on, it is going to the saturation state. Similarly, in the negative side also, up to this small change in input, it is responding. The op-amp is responding. Then later, it is going to the saturation state. Yes. So this region, with the help of this region, we are going to use the op-amp for different applications. So in this curve, we have 3 regions. One is positive region, negative region, and then the linear region. So all applications, most of the applications of op-amp are designed using the linear region. So this table gives you the simple comparison between the practical values of op-amp and then the ideal values of op-amp. So let us concentrate on 2-3 points here. So for the voltage gain, AOL, yes, it is, here it is 2 into 10 power 5 and here it is infinite. Input resistance very high and here infinite. So practical is not at all possible. So we have, ideal is not at all possible. So we have to take only the practical values, and these practical values will also vary based on the manufacturers, based on the different configurations. Yes. Okay. We have come to the very interesting thing of op-amp. Op-amp configuration. I can configuration in the sense in what way I can connect the op-amp. I can connect the op-amp in two different ways. One is open loop configuration, other one is the closed loop configuration. So open loop is keep on going is the open loop, and closed loop is keep on taking the feedback and then proceeding is the closed loop. So if I keep on talk, that is the open loop, and if I take sufficient feedback from your side, in the chat box or voice, then it is the closed loop. So open loop is it will be like it will be giving its own performance, that is the open loop. But closed loop configuration, I can able to get the desired performance. For example, we can take the reality shows in TVs, so where the judges will be there and they'll be all time giving the feedbacks to the participants so that the participants can improve their performance. Yes, so that is the closed loop configuration. If no judge is there, no exam is there, it's complete lockdown, no classes there, then that is the open loop configuration. I can do whatever I want. That is the open loop configuration. There is no control on anything. So it won't give as much result. Whatever it likes to do, the result will be based on that. But in closed loop configuration, I can control my desired output. Yes. So open loop op-amp, two applications are listed here. So open loop is, we have two inputs, one output, positive supply, negative supply. There is no feedback. So it is a open loop configuration. Yes. So similarly, two inputs, one output, but I have a from my output feedback and give it to my input. So I have studied and then wrote the exam. Through the marks, I have taken the feedback. Yes, I got 90%. Yes, my marks are very good and it is a positive feedback. Yes, no, I got 70%. So I want to improve my results. I want to do some more hard work to improve my output result. Yes, so this is the feedback. See how many applications are listed for closed loop op-amp. So most of the applications can be obtained if the op-amp is in closed loop. Yes. Yes, I'll move a little fast. We are running out short of time. So op-amp applications, we have linear applications are listed, non-linear applications are listed, and then wave shaping circuits are listed. So linear applications are all time if you connect the op-amp in the closed loop configuration, that is with the feedback. Yes, non-linear application, if it is without feedback, then it is non-linear applications. Yes, some more applications can be obtained by shaping your wave. So it is astable, monostable, or listed on the last one. So we will go with the inverting amplifier. The name inverting. So the name means that inverter. Inverter is a NOT gate. Na? So what you apply? If I apply 1, the output will be 0. If I apply 0, the output will be 1. Yes. So if I apply 1 here, the output will be 0. If I apply 0 here, the output will be 1. See, I have applied the input to my negative input terminal, that is inverting input terminal. So it is inverting amplifier, and the other input terminal is grounded. Yes, and taken the output from the output terminal. So it's inverting amplifier. If I apply 2 volts, I'll get minus 2 volts. If I apply 10 volts, I'll get minus 10 volts. So we know gain is equal to output by input, and V out by Vi is equal to, we have 2 resistors in the network. So it is minus Rf by Ri, and output voltage gain is equal to Rf by Ri. So in this case, if both the resistors are same, Rf and Ri, both the resistors are same, then my voltage gain will be equal to 1. So if I apply 2, I'll get minus 2. If I apply 3, I'll get minus 3. So what I apply? Exactly the inversion I'll get in the output side. Yes. If you choose different values for RF and RI, then you can calculate what will be your gain. Yes. So for the inverting amplifier, this is my input signal. So the output should be inverted, but it is not the gain. I have assumed the gain to be 2. Yes. So my output is inverted and as well as it is amplified. So non-inverting amplifier. So it's very clear from its name. I'm going to apply the input to the non-inverting terminal. That is my positive terminal I'm going to apply. So all the resistor setup network comes in the feedback. Yes. So here the voltage gain is equal to, so you have to derive for this expression, AV is equal to 1 plus R1. R1 is your feedback resistor and R2 your terminal resistor connected to the inverting terminal here. Yes. So here in this case, if R1 is equal to R2, then what is your voltage gain? If R1 is equal to R2, what is your voltage gain? Yes, it is 1 plus 1. So your voltage gain is 2. So if I apply 1, what will be my output? My output will be 2. All times it is doubled if all the resistors are holding the same value. Yes. So this is my input signal and this is my amplified output signal. All time, even my input is 1, my output will definitely be 2. Why? Because of this expression. My output will definitely be 2. Yes. I hope you all can able to follow. Yes. So the very famous application of op-amp is very interested to do the practical in this. It is adder, or it is called as a summing amplifier. Yes. So it can be of any type. I have applied here the input on the non-inverting side. Yes. So for the non-inverting amplifier, if I apply plus 5 volts, yes, I'll get the plus sign only. If I apply my inputs to the minus side, that is inverting side, if I apply 5, then I'll get minus 5 here. Yes, hope you can able to follow. Now we will go to the understanding of this circuit. So it is an adder circuit. So adder means it has to add. What it will add? It will add all the inputs. How many inputs I have? I have only 2 inputs in the circuit. It is V1 and V2. So what will be my output? My output will be V1 plus V2. In what case? If the case is all my resistors are holding the same value. Yes, if all the resistors are holding the same value, then V out is equal to V1 plus V2. Yes, so if you have 3, 4 values here, Then you can change your expression V1 plus V2 plus V3, like that you can keep on change your expression. Or in case I have a different resistors in different input sides, then you change your expression like this. It is RF V1 by R1 plus V2 by R2. Yes, you can keep on change your expression in this way. Next it is the integrator and differentiator. So you can able to integrate the applied value. So integration and differentiation is the main different functions, mathematical functions. So whatever you apply to the op-amp, you can able to design your op-amp as an integrator. So if you apply 5 volt, you can able to integrate the 5 volt. If you apply 5 volt, you can able to even differentiate the 5 volt. That is one of these operations you can mainly do using op-amps. Yes. So we will go into this circuit diagrams, how to do that. So for the integrator, just place one capacitor on the feedback network. Yes. And for the differentiator, just replace the capacitor on the input side of the op-amp and leave your feedback network with the same resistor. Yes. If the capacitor comes in the feedback network, it is integrator. If the capacitor comes in the input side, it is differentiator. Yes. So for the integrator, I have V out is equal to, I have a constant 1 by this R and C is my constant. Then integrated from 0 to t. What I integrate my input signal. What I applied here, I integrate in the input, right? So that is my output. And here for the differentiator, RC, and then I differentiate my input value. What I applied here, I differentiate in my input side. Yes. So that will be available in the output. So for easy understanding, I have shared the input and output waveforms of the integrator. So for the integrator, if the input voltage is 2 volts, if I integrate, for the differentiator, if the input voltage is 2 volts, if I differentiate that, see my differentiating expression, it is minus RC dV in. Yes, if I differentiate 2, I'll get 2T. Yes, and here we have the minus is there, so it is, so you will get it like a spike. Because of minus, you will get it like a negative spike here. Yes, for the straight line. And for the output, for the different set of inputs, I have a square wave as the input. And here for the positive side, I get the negative peak, and the negative side, I'll get the positive peak. So similarly, if you differentiate the sign, you will get the cosine wave. So as of now, we have discussed the applications of op-amp. We have discussed the 3 different applications of op-amp. One is inverting amplifier, non-inverting amplifier, and then summer. These applications we have discussed. All these applications falls in the linear region of op-amp. Yes, I hope you all know what is the linear region. So this region is linear region. For which op-amp I'll get the linear region? If you put the op-amp in closed loop configuration, you will get the linear region. Yes, correct? So you have to operate the op-amp with the feedback to get the different applications like inverting, non-inverting, summing, and then differentiator, integrator. Yes. So we will discuss 2 more applications to work the op-amp in the non-linear region, that is saturation region. So now I'm going to work the op-amp only in the saturation region. Yes. So there is no feedback. See, there is no feedback in the network. So 2 inputs, 1 output. One input, I have connected some reference signal. Reference signal is 2 volts, for example. Yes, that is connected to the negative inverting terminal, and the other input is I have applied some continuous signal on the other side. Yes, so always this input will be compared with this input. So always it will be compared with the -2. Yes, so V in is greater than V reference and V in is less than V reference. So we have taken two conditions: when this input is greater than this input, or when this input is less than this input. So there is no feedback at all. If there is no feedback, I won't get this region. If there is no feedback, I won't get this region, correct? So we will go to this region or this region directly. Yes, if my V in is greater than V reference, V out will be equal to plus VCC. What is my plus VCC? My plus VCC is saturation. Yes, if you apply 15 volts to your op-amp, then if you satisfy V in greater than V reference, then you will go to plus 15 volts in the output side. If V in is less than V reference, then you will go to minus VCC, that is minus 15 volts. Yes, correct? So these are the non-linear applications of op-amp. I don't have any control on the op-amp, just it will compare the two inputs. When it is greater, it goes to the positive saturation. When it is less than, it goes to comes back to the negative saturation. So obviously how it will behave, will it similarly behaves like a square wave generator? Yes. So put little concentration on this. So this is my input signal, and this is my V reference. My V reference is negative. Why? Because I have applied this to the inverting terminal. I have applied this to the inverting terminal. Yes, then so this portion sorry, this portion is completely above the V reference, so it is giving positive V saturation, and from this portion is below the V reference, so it is immediately switching to the negative V saturation. Yes, is it is clear? So the wave, output wave will be looking like on off on off on off. Yes, so this is the comparator. So it will have one reference voltage. It will always compare with the reference voltage, and it's very easy. No need of any feedback network here. So hello, yeah.
Yeah, Priya ma'am, I'm from Nimi side.
Yes, madam.
Ma'am, actually, we have to start another class.
Madam,
So,
this is my last slide. I'm going to complete.
okay, sure.
Yeah, thank you. So the last application we are going to discuss is the zero cross detector. This is also a comparator, and this is going to compare with the zero reference. See, this is my zero reference. It will compare V in with the zero. The input will always be compared with the zero, and if any changes are there, it will give in the output side. And this is also falls in the nonlinear region. So the output switches to either positive saturation or negative saturation. Yes, clear? So when my input is greater than V reference, guys, what is the V reference here? Yes, it is 0. So V in is greater than 0, it goes to positive V saturation. V in is less than V reference, it goes to negative V saturation. Yes, so it exactly looks like a square wave because it is all in the 0 as the reference. Yes, of the applications of linear applications of op-amp, and as well as the non-linear applications of op-amp.
She's taking